So my name is Fodé. I'm a local software engineer and entrepreneur. I'm originally from Senegal, from West Africa. And I'm really just excited about Bitcoin and Lightning and all that stuff. So I wanted to work on something cool. So this weekend I participated in a hackathon and ended up winning one of the categories. And basically it was it's called the Hike Mobility 2019. And it was about basically a transportation hackathon. So I was trying to figure out what to build for this thing. Like, how can I possibly integrate Lightning into transportation? So my category basically was called equitable, and the thing was basically how can we make transportation more accessible to everyone in society, right? So my thing was that I'm from Senegal, from West Africa, and where I'm from, only 6 to 7% of the adult population actually have credit cards. So if you do not have a credit card, how do you participate in systems like Uber, Lyft, or especially Turo for like a basically peer-to-peer car rental? So I said, let me just kind of figure out how to get this in and all that stuff, whatever. So in the morning, we had a workshop for Smart Card API. And I realized that that's the API that the people who have the car washes, the one that they use, right? So the way that it works is that the flow is that if you want someone to come to your office and wash your car, usually you will basically have, they want to come to your office, you go down, give them the key, they wash the car, you go back, get the key, and go back to your office desk. So what basically these people did was like make an API where if the person comes to my office, I can basically give them access through my phone app. I can unlock my car and then have them wash the car, and as soon as it's finished, I can lock the car and then it's over pretty much, right? I said, oh, I can basically have Lightning invoice in the middle. I can scan it, pay the invoice, unlike the Tesla. And I said, well, let me see if I can do this from Friday night to Sunday afternoon. And that's exactly what happened. And that's how I built it. So initially, I made the initial prototype on Friday night. I said, okay, well, Saturday night. I said, let me figure out a way to basically have a bunch of cars where someone can basically come to a page and see a bunch of cars actually available for rent. They can basically pick a car. I'm a Tesla, I like Tesla. So let's pick a Tesla. Put my name in there because insurance information, because they have to know kind of who I am driving the car per se. And I basically click on it, submit it, and it will open up a Lightning invoice, right? So once I pay the invoice, it should basically, technically, actually unlock my Tesla, right? But I don't have the whole flow going. So I said, okay, well, let me figure out a way to integrate the Smart Car API in there. So for sure, when I go basically to the Smart Car API, grab the car information, come back to my site, populate the page, pay the invoice, I unlock my Tesla, right? So check this out. So what I did was like, oops, where's my mouse?
That's right. It's on the TV.
Okay. All right. So the way that this works is that, so we have this page, very simple because it's a hackathon, so you got to make it simple, right? So I have my car that I want to put in the system. I basically get this this module to allow my car in the system itself. I press connect. It takes me to the Smart Car API. I pick the car that I like. It could be a BMW, or Audi, whatever that you like. Most likely electrical, if you're not talking about Lightning. I pick a Tesla. Authenticate through the system itself. It will like send it back to my website. It will populate it with the Tesla information, the car model and the year. So this is the car that's in the system itself, right? I just click on this radio button, pick the car, put my information again for insurance purposes, click on it. Now the invoice itself now is populated with the car information. All the Tesla stuff, the user's information, all these things, right? So for audit purposes, in case something happens, we can do so. So if we had a Tesla here, it will open right now, but since we don't have one, let's figure this out. So I'm tapping here. Excuse me.
Cheapest Tesla ever.
Yeah, exactly, 1 cent, right? Because actually, it's on the live net right now. It's not even on the main net because it was a hackathon, but I wanted to make it exciting. I said, well, let's go on the live net, main net, why not? Right? So get in here, I scan the car invoice.
Buy Bitcoin.
Boom, get it, pay the invoice itself. It clears up. Now, actually, if I didn't pay it, if I go the other route, it wouldn't basically let me to the car itself. It would basically just lock it up. But now that I pay the invoice complete and paid, and I basically go to close the invoice itself, if you had a Tesla right now, it'll be unlocked. Any quick questions? I know we got to.
And the code is on GitHub as well?
It's on GitHub. Unfortunately, I don't use LND. I use C Lightning. I'm sorry. Yes, but I use this service called BTC Pay, and it's amazing.
What happens if I don't give the car back?
It is what it is. Yes. not sure.
Locks you in.
Maybe like you in, you know. Yeah. But these things are amazing because now everybody uses them now. Everybody uses them. You can pretty much, you're gonna like get fuel information, odometer, you get all information about the car, and you can pretty much put them in the invoice itself. You can do just amazing things, I feel. And I feel like if you are in the third world, you don't have a credit card, this opens up a lot of opportunities for you. And for me, I feel like sometimes people in the States don't maybe understand it. I'm from Africa, and I'm telling you, man, we don't have credit cards there. That's why to me, Lightning makes so much sense because it's actually instant and it's super cheap, right? So we helped a lot of people. So let's just take it out there, and I'm here to help. And I want a job at Lightning, but yeah.